In today's video, we are diving deep into the HE double hockey stick, which are doing missions for reward tanks in World of Tanks. Especially the 279 and 260 mission. Today, we are looking, however, at the coalition of the 279 mission tech tree. A mission branch which I am very familiar with, and I did all of them with honors. So I should know what I'm talking about, even though I'm a little bit of a pepega myself. Yes, those missions can be done with Swedish tanks, French tanks, Italian tanks, and the Czech tanks. There is an important notice about those missions in general. You have a lot of those do X amount of stuff in Y amount of battles. I always advise to reset until in the first game of the mission chain you have, for example, already done it once or have a good ground base where you did like 20% of the whole thing already. There is apparently a mod for it, but I never used it, so I can't say if this is a good one or a bad one. Let's begin with the first mission, and this is in 3 or rather 4 out of 10 games get the fighter or the Top Gun award, which means you have to kill at least 4 enemies. That is a mission which you should do in a platoon. Why you should do that in a platoon? It's very simple, boys and girls. You just want to have an ally which doesn't steal your kills and actually prepares them for you. Tanks I can highly suggest are the Burrasque, the Progetto series if it is the Tier 8 or the Tier 10 tank, or the Pantera or the Standard B, the Kranwagen family, the Emil tanks, or for example also the 50B, AMX 5100, Sumo SM. Everything which basically has a lot of kill pressure, if it is with an auto reloader or an auto loader. There are many good options. Mission 2. You have to do 3 or 4k damage in 3 games in a row. Honestly, this is a mission where I just have to say, get good. Play the things you feel comfortable in and you know you can perform in. Personally, I played the Burrasque because a Frey marked it, I'm not kidding, and I did the 4k damage because that thing is so strong in the hands of good players. But obviously for the average Joe, I'd say just play your 10 tanks and get a little bit lucky. You don't want to do them with honors after all, you just want to do the 3k damage and then you're fine. So in tier 10 tanks, it's the easiest way to do because there are the most amount of hit points tanking around, you know. And tanks like the Progetto I still think are very valid options. Tanks like the 50B or even the Foch B are very good because you basically have to do 2 clips and you're done. Also, I do recommend to not platoon in this mission, and I recommend to, at least for the time being, shoot a decent chunk of gold. At least on the 50B, you know, because the APCR is a lot better than the AP round. Mission number 3. In 10 battles, get 5 or 7 heroic or epic medals. Here, once more, reset until in the first game you have like 2 medals already, so you have a really decent basis for grounding this mission. I highly suggest to try and focus on either doing damage or doing spotting, where I think damage is the more consistent one, because you can always do damage, while spotting is always a little bit icky, depending on the map after all. Here, the combo which I usually went for is High Caliber and the Confederate Medal, or High Caliber and Top Gun Award. Why exactly those two, or even Pascucci Medal? Pascucci Medal also works as it is an epic medal, or even the one for killing 3 artillery pieces. I think it's the Burda Medal, I'm not entirely sure anymore. Thing is, High Caliber, do the 20% of your team's damage, I think it is. Boom. Confederate, don't do kills, your teams have to finish those kills. And this just works very well together, because you just want to do damage, you don't give a crap about kills. And if you care about crap kills, you just take them and maybe get 6 kills for the Top Gun Award. It's a skill mission, so you have to be a decent at the game or just play a lot of games. I suggest Progetto on tier 8, Progetto on tier 10, Standard B are very good tanks. Burrasque obviously are the best for that mission. Or EPR 75 FL10 are good, EPR 105 are good, even is very good if you want to do the scout patrol duty way. So yeah, there is that. Mission number 4, 30-35 internal modules destroyed in 10 games. Once more, reset until in the first game you have like 6 or more internal modules destroyed. Tanks I can recommend are artillery after all, because RT is very good at destroying internal modules. Until the RT changes may come around, who knows. But I personally did it with the Foch 155 with HE. The thing is, I feel like a lot of you don't have the Foch 155 at the moment. I think most of you do, but not all of you do. So it's a little bit hard, you know, to judge. If you have it, you can easily do it. It is an RNG based mission. Otherwise, I would suggest to get the EBRs and just spam HE. HE, 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 HE. Don't give a crap about APCR or heat rounds. Be stupid, just load HE and do as many pens as possible, because then this is your best way to destroy as many internal modules out there. And once more, I don't think that platoon is necessary for that mission. Mission 5. In 30 or 40 rounds blocked in 10 games. Once more, reset until you have a good first game, where you maybe blocked like 10 rounds or so you already have a third done. And tanks I can recommend are the Liberty, even though it has a big cupola, the AMX M4 on Tier 9 or the Tier 10 tank, even though the Tier 9 is a little bit easier because its tier for tier so much better. Maybe you want to wait for the upcoming Czechoslovakian heavy tank tree, or go for the evil Emil and Kranwagen, because there's still a lot of people which are stupid and just shoot at your turret and hoping it works. The Bisonte is a very good tank to do it in, or the new Italian heavy tanks in general. The Tier 8, not so much. The Tier 9, definitely, and the Tier 10 is also fairly good at that if you know how to hide your weak spot. It is an RNG mission because you have to hope for your enemies to be stupid and to not either load premium rounds or load HE. So yeah, so you may have to try a lot, but not try hard. Sorry boys, that's all I have for this mission. Mission number 6, 75 or 90 armor penetrating shots in 10 battles. Low alpha tanks with a high rate of fire are your friends in this one, lads. So I highly recommend to use the Batcher 12 team, because it has a very low alpha. And that's already which I can say. It's a good scout to learn how to use a not so strong vehicle, and it has just the right amount of alpha for doing that mission. If you obviously have the EBR 75 FL10 Premium Wheelie Boy, it's a no-brainer. Just take the Wheelie Boy and you're done for. You have low alpha with the AP rounds, and you have a very good DPM. I can also suggest to try and use the Progetto 46 or the Pantera, maybe the UDES 14 Alt 5 with the 240 alpha gun, and yeah, once more, reset until you have a good first round. Mission number 7, destroy 2 or 3 tanks of 2 different types in 3 games in a row. A lucky-based platoon mission. By platoon, come on boys, you know it by now, they help you secure kills. Get an auto reloader of your choice and get to business. It's a pure skill and team play mission. Subscribe, or you will have bad RNG for the foreseeable future. Mission number 8. You have to get 2-3 patrol duties in 12 games. And again, if you're realistic, it is basically 1 or 2 in 11 games, because you always reset until you have 1 in the first game. Patrol duty says you have to help your team to make damage to at least 6 different enemies. However, you can only be the only one doing the spotting damage. So for example, if you're playing the ELC even 90 and you have another ELC even 90 and you're both sharing a same bush on Prokhorovka, for example, an enemy lights up and you only get 200 damage even though he received 400 damage, you will not get this counted towards your mission. The thing is, this is a proper scout mission, meaning it is luck based on the maps. You need to get Proko, you need to get Mali, you need to get maybe Murovanka, and I highly suggest to use either the Wheelie Boys or the Even, because they are just so perfect for that mission. Burask could work because the Burask is basically an all-rounder anyway, so pick your poison, really. But be prepared that it might take some tries, as it is lucky to get the maps you need. And the matchmaking you need, because if you get Prokhorovka with 3 scouts, and 2 of which are evens, 1 including you, it will be hard, you know, it will be hard. Numero 9. On average, do damage to 4 or 5 different vehicles in 10 games. Yeah. What am I supposed to say? Play arty. That's the easiest way out there, like, seriously. Once again, reset until you have it in the first round, maybe like 6 different vehicles, so you have a little bit of a buffer. But come on, boys, this mission is so simple. It's so simple to do if you have an artillery. If you don't have an artillery and you say, screw this clicker class, which is understandable, EBR 75 FL10 will be a good option. The Lynx will be a good option because you have the speed, you have a good HE, so you can just spam HE and hope that you just do a little bit of damage and zip around. And keep in mind which tanks you already shot at. This is a mission which is also training you to get the Confederate Award, basically. In mission number 10, you have to do 1,500 or 1,700 spot in 3 games in a row. This is a lucky-based mission because you have to play scouts you feel comfortable in, first things first, and then you have to have a good map 3 times in a row. You have to be lucky. You can maybe try to rig it a little bit by platooning with 50Bs, and you track the enemy, and your friends are like, I got you, homie, and start to yada da 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 da, and you get the D-track spot damage, you know. That is also a way to work it, so it is a very nice mission to do in platoons, and it doesn't matter if it is for doing your damage, or for doing the D-track damage, or the spot damage. I personally did it in a Borask. Again, all-rounder tank while free marking it. It's stupid how strong this vehicle is. Mission 11 says in 3-4 out of 9 games, be the top player in vehicles destroyed. Once more, get a platoon mate, get 2 platoon mates, get an auto, reloader, and get to business. Important to know is that you have to have the most amount of kills. So if an enemy has the same amount of kills, or your teammate has the same amount of kills, it won't count. So keep that in mind. In mission 12, you have to help destroying 7 or 10 vehicles in 10 games by spotting or detracking them. Honestly, this mission is actually very easy. You just have to get 1 good game and you already have it over. Get ELC even 90, get Prokhorovka, get Malinovka, boom, it's finished. Get Murvanka. Works like a charm. You just have to get a little bit lucky. That's how it is. Other than that, you can try to go for D-track and the 50 cheese strategy, but yeah. Otherwise, if you are not really feeling that lucky, reset until you have in like the first game like 3 people, and then it's smooth sailing at that point, you know, and play something like you feel comfortable in as a scout. In mission 13, you have to do in 3 or 4 out of 7 games the double amount of damage of your HP. Either play a Tier 8 tank like the Borask, because it's very easy to do 2,500 damage in this tank because it's so strong. Prosciutto also works. It will be a little bit harder to do the 2,900 damage, which is necessary for this mission. Or bad shit simple, play Arty. Seriously, just play Arty. It's so easy to do 1,000 damage or 800 damage with an artillery piece, especially at the current meta. It's very simple, very easy to do. Go for a champ and you will be done for. But again, if you don't like to play artillery, try to take a Tier 8 tank, because on Tier 8 I think it's a bit easier to do 2,500 or 3,000 damage than to do that in Tier 10. But that's just my personal take on this. Maybe Badger 12T, which you had to buy for the previous mission, might also be a very, very good way. Or again, EBR 75 FL10. 950 damage, 950 hit points, meaning you need 1,900 damage. Which is super easy to do in this tank if you know a little bit about it. Mission 14, in 3 or 4 out of 5 games, be the top player by damage in both teams. Just get good. It's a get good mission, it's a skill mission. Reset until you have it in the first round once, and then keep on going. Play tanks you feel comfortable in. The Borask is a great tank, the Kranwagen is a great tank, the 50B is great for that, the Prosciutto, Tier 8, Tier 10, Standard B. There's so many great vehicles you can try to use for this mission, and just go for it. Again, it's a skill mission. The only real issue will be the matchmaking. So when you're playing the Borask and you get like only or almost only Tier 9 and Tier 10 tank games, it will be a little bit rough. And lastly, mission 15, which we all know and love. In 3 out of 20 games, get first classes or ace wankers. Go to mastery.polaroid.ru. Look up the tanks from Tier 8 to Tier 10 of Sweden, Italy, Czechoslovakia, and what was it? France? French? Yeah, France. And look at which one have the lowest amount. Or just play the tank you feel the most comfortable in. It's obviously a skill mission. It's obviously a mission where you once again have to reset until you did it the first time in the first round, and then get to business. You have 19 games to get 2 ace wankers or 2 first class medals. It's that simple. Personally, I did it with the Borask. I got the 3 ace tankers with the Borask. Even though the Borask is the hardest tank from that list to get the ace tankers with. The list itself says that the TVP VTU concept is the one with the lowest requirements for ace tankers. The Foch is the second, and then we have the Stridswagen, AMX 65T, etc., etc., and so on. The thing about this list is that the tanks with low expected values, this is a reason why they have low expected values, because they're bad. The TVP V2 concept is a bad tank, okay? The Stridsvagn 103B is not a bad tank, but the thing is it usually only does damage from the backline, meaning that you don't really get the bonus for doing close range damage, you know, to the XP or to spotting. So that is a little bit of an issue. But yeah, the list, look it up yourself. I personally suggest just play the tanks you like of the tanks you have available and just get to business and try your best. And that wraps up everything. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, otherwise you will have bad RNG, and I hope you learned something. Leave it a like if you think it was a good video, and share it with your friends. Cheers, and I see you in the last guide. Bye bye, boys.